Alright, so I got the A7 III a couple days ago. I've been very impressed with how it performs. The AF, the low light is actually really impressive, especially when you're coming from a Micro Four Thirds or the older Sony Alpha cameras. This one is the A6000. This is what I've been using most of the time. Because even though I love the image stabilization out of my Panasonic, the low light is just not good at all. This has been my combo. It's this, the Sigma Art 24-105, which I don't use very much because it's really heavy. It's heavier than this. With the MC-11, it actually works very well. The AF was fast enough for me. In video and in stills, it's very noisy. So if you plan to use the audio of your video while using the continuous AF, it's not gonna work out. Not even with a shotgun microphone, unless it's like a wireless system or you're recording audio on you with a lav mic, then it's just not usable. The AF is good. I realized that with this camera, and I'm guessing the older Sony cameras like the A7, the A5000, even the 5100, the A6000, the A7R, A7S, those two are not good simply because they use only contrast detect AF, so they wouldn't be good even if the adapter worked as good as it does with the others. I'm not really as good, but the compatibility is the problem, because I tried to use the Canon 50mm version 2, the f1.8, and it doesn't focus at all. I'll be showing a video of how it does with that. With that lens, it goes front, back, like it hunts twice, then it stays on the spot where it's supposed to be focusing. It does a little back and forth and it stops, and it confirms the AF, but it only actually is spot on like 1 out of, I don't know, 20 times. So it didn't work at all, and that made me scared to buy other Canon lenses that were not Sigma. Not just Sigma, but the Sigma compatible with the MC-11 lenses. But then after I got this, one of the first things I did, after I got the A7 III, one of the first things I did was try to use the 50mm with this camera, and it works perfectly. The AF is super fast. I was impressed because I wasn't expecting it to work. I thought it was a compatibility issue with the lens and the adapter, but it turns out that it was the camera because it's too old. I had seen tests on YouTube. They tried a bunch of Canon lenses with the MC-11 and it worked. So when I saw that it didn't work on my A6000, I was like, wow, what could be the problem? Is it my camera? Is it the adapter? Is it the firmware of the adapter? But it turns out I think it's because of the camera itself. I thought it could be that because the older cameras, the one that only have contrast detect, I thought it would be that with those cameras it wouldn't work at all. But the A6000 does have hybrid phase and contrast detect, so it's not as advanced as the newer 6300 and 6500, but it is there, so I assumed that it would work. I wanted to sell the 50 after I saw that it didn't, but I thought I'm gonna keep it, and maybe if I ever upgrade to the A7R2 or the A7S2, maybe it'll work with those. So I decided to keep it, and now I'm gonna show how it performs with the A6000 and the problems I had, and then I'll show how it performs with the A7 III. So this is the lens with the adapter and the camera. And for those wondering what I'm using to film this video, I'm using the Sigma 30mm f1.4. It's the crop version, so this video is in Super 35 mode. I'm actually really impressed with how the camera does in that mode. When I used it with the 18-35, it was very sharp, very good. Even in low light it was very decent. But anyway, this is the lens, and this is what it does when I'm trying to focus on anything. If you catch that, it goes back and forth, then it does that little stuttering, and then it stops. And when it does that, it shows a focus confirmation on the screen. And right now it is in focus, but only half the time it works. This is my subject now. A6000 is what I'm using to record this right now. This is the A7III with the adapter. And let's try this. So right now it's in wide. Let's put it to center. It doesn't seem to support zone in continuous AF. You can see there. It's really fast. In single point AF, it's also good. Yeah, much faster. So it does work. So that is it for the video. Just wanted to show for the people that maybe have this lens. This is a very cheap lens. You can find it for $80 to $100 used. It's Canadian dollars. I'm sure the STM version is even better, and it only costs, some people who are trying to get rid of it sell it for $100. Usually it's $100 and $130 used, but it works really well. And that's something that I even saw on YouTube. Jason Lanier was testing the MC-11 with a bunch of Canon lenses and Sigma lenses, and it worked really well. I didn't test the IAF with this lens, but that works well with the Sigma lenses. And yeah, for just if you have Canon lenses or Sigma lenses and you're not ready to dish out all the thousands of dollars that the Sony native lenses cost, you can use this for now. It's a completely usable combination. And yeah, this is what I'm going to be using while I sell all my gear, my old Sony cameras and my Nikon, Panasonic, all that. And I think it's gonna work just fine while I maybe get a 24-70 or something of the sort. And if I don't get to save up for those, I still have the option of getting the 24-70 or 70-200 lenses, the Canon L lenses. They're still very good, they're still very sharp, and they're usable in for stills, for video. I still have my Sigmas, or instead of going Canon, I could go with Sigma lenses, Sigma art lenses. I'm very interested in the 35 f1.4, and now that I have this camera, I'm gonna be getting rid of my old gear, as I said. So before I do that, I would like to make a few videos to maybe review them, show some things, answer questions. If anyone interested in buying those items is interested in knowing some of these the aspects of these cameras. The cameras I have: the A6000, the A5100, the D700 Nikon, very old camera but still very good even now, the Panasonic G85, and the A7R Mark I. So I'm gonna be trying to make videos about those cameras. Nothing very in-depth, because I don't think I'm qualified for reviewing those cameras like that. I didn't give them extended usage like I would need to be able to have a very solid opinion on them or be informed properly about them, but some basic stuff I can do. And if anyone has any questions and wants to know anything about those cameras, I'll try to answer them. So that's it for now.